What's going on, guys? It's the Nervous Vet. Been out for about 8 days now, so I just wanted to give like a little bit of an update for those of you that might be getting out of the Air Force soon. For those who haven't watched any of my other videos, I was in for about 6.5 years, did my four, retrained into another job, and then separated on April 1st, 2026. So I just wanted to shed a little bit of light on like what it's like the first few days after you get out. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably thinking about getting out yourself, or maybe in the middle of out processing. It is what it is. It's you get your list and you go by the numbers, and hopefully you have a VA claim in. You've looked into all the benefits that we're entitled to. Don't rely on TAP, but actually do independent research and figure out what you want to do. We have a lot of options as far as the GI Bill. Obviously, VA. We have VA work study if you wanted to actually work at the institution that you're going to be going to school at. UCX, which is like ex service member unemployment that you can collect in the state of Arizona for up to 26 weeks, close to 6 months. Tons of benefits that you can use pretty much right as soon as you get out. Unfortunately, getting out in April 1st, right in the middle of spring semester for school. So it's not like I could hit the ground running with school. So my options are literally just try and get into work immediately or wait till the summer term for school, which I'm electing to do the latter, barring getting a really good job in the meantime. But yeah, you'll do your out processing. It'll all seem like everything's like future based. You've been looking forward to this this separation date for months, maybe years, who knows. And all of a sudden it's here and then it's behind you and you're like, now what? I mean, it just is one of those things, right? So you just got to stay, I don't know, vigilant and dedicated to your plan. It's no time to get complacent. Get into school. Definitely apply for the UCX benefits. I'm finding out now that it's kind of difficult to navigate some of these things like unemployment. Like I just got my letter saying like what they're going to pay me, but they got my income completely wrong. So I don't want an overpayment. So now I'm going to have to deal with those people. It's just like a lot of incompetencies among all of these folks that I'm dealing with as soon as I get out. My college veteran advisors are a bunch of dumbasses. Really, I mean, I need 4 classes to apply for this radiology program I'm trying to get into. 4 classes, not a big deal. I register for them, and like they're having a hell of a time trying to get my classes paid for. GI Bill, this benefit that everyone looks forward to using as soon as they get out, or using at some point after they get out. It's like the very first time I try to use it, there's hiccups. So I'm sure it's going to be a bumpy ride. It is what it is. You just got to roll with the punches. But yeah, the GI Bill stuff is interesting. What I'm finding out from them and the Pell Grant folks is that you need to make sure that you are in your dedicated program of study before you register for classes. That's like a no shit Sherlock thing, I know, but hear me out. If you're going to do prerequisites to apply for a program, that's not going to be under a dedicated program of study. Your coursework is not going to be, unless you're getting like an associate of arts or something, which is ultimately what I had to switch over to so I can get this stuff paid for. We'll figure out how that works. But I switched over to that, or submitted the paperwork for it anyway, 2-3 days ago. So basically, I need to take like Bio 201, which is anatomy and physiology, college algebra, some weird humanities class that has absolutely nothing to do with radiology. It's called American Indian Studies. They want you to take it here in Tucson. So that one, and then a health professions something or another. It's only worth 1 credit. Here's the thing: like the health professions thing is not going to be on under your associate of arts. Your anatomy and physiology is not going to be under your associate of arts, but your math 151 and your other stuff's not going to be under like the health certificates and stuff that you can choose from. So you have to like pick and choose what you can get under an umbrella for a program of study if you're doing coursework, of course, and then change it again. And I think Pell Grant gets pissed off at that, or FAFSA. They don't like it when you do that. I don't think the VA is going to have an issue, but if they do, I will update you guys. But yeah, so far, I talked to a veteran advisor. They threw me in some kind of health profession certificate as my program of study, which had none of the prereqs that I needed for radiology or respiratory therapy, which is my backup plan. Um, so yeah, I didn't ask to have to do this, but I'm doing it. They thought they were being proactive, and that's cool. Also, I've realized just call people. Do not rely on emailing anybody. I went a couple months waiting for a response. Like, would ping this lady, and it's no fault of her own. I'm sure she's extremely busy, but it's like I'm used to getting things kind of done in a reasonable amount of time. Now it's like you rely on other people, and they might not have time at all to get to you, and they don't have to. They don't have to deal with your problems. So just call the school, and you might come off as a pain in the ass, but hey, if I'm not going to get help from the first person, I'm just going to go to the next. So I've actually talked to there's like the veteran advisors, and then there's like your school or university or whatever is going to have like a person that signs off on your stuff, like a certifying official or something like that. I don't know. You can find out who your school certifier is on the VA GI Bill comparison tool. Same tool that you can use to compare BAH or the MHA rates by location or whichever school you decide to go to. But yeah, that's the school stuff. The unemployment stuff sounds like it's going to be a headache. A little bit about that. Some people are going to be too proud to do it. Other people say you're stupid not to. That's the way I kind of feel about it personally. You have to be able and looking for work, of course. I think you have to submit 4 job searching like activities a week as you update your claim. You have to like do weekly continuation claims. My goal is to apply for stuff that I did in the military through USA Jobs and stuff like that. And I mean, if I get interviews, that'll be great. I'll either get a job that I want, or I will be compensated through this this benefit that we've earned called, again, I think it's UCX or X. It's like X service member unemployment. I think every state's different. Some states, I think you can get up to a year. Arizona, it sounds like 26 is about the max. Could end up with a whole lot less. But yeah, we'll see. It looks like I'm only going to be getting about, well, I'm slated to get about $400 a week, but they had me making $90,000 a year of taxable income in a 12-month period as an E5, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. In fact, I probably made about half of that. So we'll see what the update is on that. But $1,000 a month doesn't hurt. Another update for you. It's been 8 days since I got out. I was notified that I would get my final paycheck 2 to 30 days after separation. Still have not received that. So VMPF was down for several days after I did my final out. In fact, I wasn't even able to really have a final out. I just gave them my paperwork. They said, you're good, and I left. They're like, our system's down. So hopefully that didn't affect it in any way, but should be getting the the end of the month pay, which they withheld from me, which is usually the paycheck I use to pay my rent. Then all the leave that I sold back 31 days of leave, which will just be the base pay for that month, taxed at 22%, no BAH or anything. Then I think you get your TSP, whatever you had withdrawn from your wages for TSP for the month, you'll get back, because I don't think that they can do a partial amount. That's the way I understand it. Maybe I'm wrong. So like that first paycheck that I did get paid, or no. Anyway, I think like whatever you were going to put in for this check, you'll end up just getting in your check. It won't go into your TSP. That's the way I understand it. There's supposed to be like an extra couple $100 coming from that. I don't know. I think you'd get paid out if you did a move or some kind of like, I'm staying where I'm at, so I don't know how the whole move thing goes, but I would expect that to be in your final check too. Leave. I think you get a prorated clothing allowance. I think I read that somewhere or watched it in a video. But when I get my final paycheck, I'll break it down and we'll go over what you actually get. But I'm expecting to get hopefully about $6,500, which will definitely cover my living expenses till school. I mean, I'm very frugal, live below my means, and my rent's only about $1,750 a month for this 2-bedroom house here in Tucson. So if we can live a little below our means for the next month and a half, it should be fine. School will start. You will get your MHA. Your MHA is prorated, so if you go to start school like halfway through the month, you'll get like whatever portion of the month that you went to school full time. Of course, I think you have to go full time, obviously, to get the full time benefit. At least one class in person. Full time for me in the summer is only 6 credit hours, so that's pretty easy, especially if I'm not going to be working. But let's see. The other thing is, VA claim. Got out April 1st, as I mentioned. I submitted my BDD probably like at the 110-day mark, because you do it in between 180 and 180 and 90? Yeah, 180 and 90. So I was cutting it pretty close. Got that submitted in late December. Did all my CMP exams in January, just to give you some perspective. And then hung out at like step 3 for a while. Went to step 5, hung out there for like the last 2 months straight. And then randomly on the 7th, I went to step 6, which is rating, I believe. And then now hit step 7 as of yesterday for it's like final review. So step 8, I'm hoping we'll get the rating. So it's been actually a pretty quick turnaround for the VA rating. For those who don't know, the BDD thing, I'll just tell you, this is definitely not a video on that. There's tons of videos out there. That's like the claim that you submit while you're still active duty. You won't need Nexus letters or anything like that, because they just use your service treatment record. So everything in there that they deem, everything that you have a diagnosis for that they can give you a rating for, I think is considered service connected. Whether it's 0% or 100%, should get some kind of service connection if you have a diagnosis and your CMP examiner filled out their DBQ correctly. I'll let you guys know how that goes too. I'm not ashamed to let anybody know what I claimed or how it turned out, and I can tell you how much documentation I had for everything. I do have a few pretty serious problems that I claimed, and I have a few things that have bothered me over the last 7 years that I claimed. My advice to you is, if you're watching this and you haven't submitted one, I would take your medical records to somebody you trust, or a very experienced VBC, Veterans Benefit Counselor, or a VSO, or somebody who will help you. Don't be like me and try to do everything on your own. Or, hell, I don't know. If you're a hell of a lot smarter than me, go right ahead. But I would have preferred to have had somebody who's done this hundreds of times comb through my records and tell me what is worth claiming, rather than me being like, this is what we're going to do. If I have any follow-ups, because I did have more medical appointments after I submitted the BDD, I'm going to go through a Veterans Benefit Counselor, just because I want to make sure I do everything the right way, because it's an interesting process. It's very anxiety-inducing for sure, but we'll see like how everything turns out with that also. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Lots of moving pieces after you get out. Obviously, I don't have work lined up, but plenty of time to think about all this stuff, knock it out, and which is both good and bad. Got all the time in the world to get your ducks in a row, but at the same time, you're stewing about the ducks that need to get in a row. But if anybody has any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to leave a comment or subscribe, like my videos. I usually talk about hockey or energy drinks, but today I just wanted to give a little perspective as far as what the first few days of getting out has been like for me, as far as just trying to get the stuff going. So yeah, we earned it. It's sure is a pain in the ass to try to get it going, but we'll get it going. I'm confident that it'll work out. Just got to figure out how it works. But yeah, until next time, guys, peace out. We'll see you.